The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is still threatening Universal Ostrich Farms. I'm Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and many of you were outraged after seeing what that agency did last year on a rural farm in Edgewood, BC. Our coverage showed you that they slayed hundreds of healthy birds who had caught the flu, the avian flu, a year prior. Now, I'm happy to let you know that our exclusive documentary, which you can find more about and support at cullingthecure.com, has reached its editing phase. But what I'm about to tell you in this report could not wait. It's the fact that the overreach is continuing. And joining me in this report is co-founder Karen Esperson to tell you more on what happened when she went to go clean up the mess that the Canadian Food Inspection Agency left behind. And also following a little bit later in this report, which you won't want to miss, is her niece, Allison Turnbull. That's right, her parents owned the property connected, or I should say beside the farm, not connected, not affiliated with at all. And they have a lawsuit against the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and the RCMP, who collectively spent $7 million at least in tax dollars to go ahead and kill these healthy birds and seize the land. And what Allison here will be telling us is the allegations have gone further above harassment and into allegations that the RCMP has lied on the record. First, you need to know how difficult it was in the first place for Karen to even get near that empty kill pen the CFIA left behind.
It was really hard for the entire family. We would go for walks. We would walk down to the river the opposite direction. We avoided it. I always thought if I put time and distance between the pen, that when I had to go out, it would be green grass. It would be easier to deal with. Nothing makes it easy. It doesn't matter what, but I knew it had to start to be faced, and I knew there was going to be challenges amongst us with this kill pen that they left behind. We never asked for that mess. They left it behind. But nonetheless, we had to face it. So we did go out. It was very emotional for everybody. And it's like we have good days, we have bad days. And now we've just decided, no matter what, for the fact that we have another major hazard, we have live ammunition underneath that hay. So if it starts on fire, there's a whole other problem that we're going to be facing also.
So after Karen actually made it to clean up the CFIA's mess, you won't believe what she found and what she was told after she emailed the CFIA about it.
What had happened is we had reached out, first of all, many attempts to CFIA, asking them to please have a bit of compassion and empathy now after the fact, and at least come clean up their mess, because they left us with no income. They left us with no means to be able to do anything. So all we have is one bobcat here. So I started reaching out. They said, nope, not their problem, that it was our problem. So then I went to Environment Canada, not our jurisdiction. We went to the RCMP, no help there. And I reached out even to the Canadian Armed Forces, never got a return answer. As we're going on through this journey, the temperatures are starting to get warmer, and we were starting to get more concerned. And like we said, it's not only a threat to us now, but this is a threat to our community as well. And we know that there's live ammunition underneath there. So it's quite concerning to us that this gets dealt with immediately also. And so out of those attempts, we decided we can't wait anymore. And we decided to take this on our own. But we went out there for a weekend, and we were told early on that it was either 180 foul days that we had to survive, or we had to clean up their mess and they had to come inspect. Either or happened, we would be out of quarantine. Well, 180 foul days from the time they said they were going to leave and that it started would have put us to May 1st. May 1st came, went. Did I contact him? Absolutely not. I was like, I know if I contact him, we've been harassed so bad, and we know we're done.
Mhm.
So we went on about our business and started to put out, we first had a whole bunch of people say they wanted to come help. And we said that would be amazing. So we put it out there. Tons of people showed up. We started the cleanup through a 2-day process. We realized we didn't even put a dent in everything. So then I went back that evening. Actually, it was after the weekend, the last night of the weekend. One of the supporters was we were cutting all the twine that was left behind that we couldn't get out of the bales, making it easier for the bobcat cat to come in and clear it away. And one of the supporters came to me and was pretty upset, and she said, Karen, and it's getting easier now that I've talked about it enough, but she said, Karen, I cut open a bale and there's at least 6 inches of blood on the inside.
Oh my gosh.
So to us, it meant obviously these birds not only were brutally killed, but they didn't die easy. And we've said this all along, hearing that they use 22 shells, and now they use 3 different types of ammo. But it was really distraught. It was really depressing to hear that obviously the birds were fighting to get out of the pen and they were wounded. And so the blood went that far in. So it really hit home, and I broke down, and I wrote a letter to CFIA, and I said, you need to really pull it together and you need to get out here and do something.
Hmm.
Well, their reply was nothing of compassion or empathy. It was 100%, you are still in quarantine. This is enforceable, and you can even face prosecution. They said if we were to remove any hay, and anybody or equipment that wants to come onto the property now needed a permit. So now they have to give up all their personal information. They have to have their equipment, everything listed with the CFIA. And everybody that was coming during the week to actually help us, I had to contact each person. I said, we're trying to get this sorted out. I don't know how we could still be in a quarantine after the way they conducted their quarantine while they were here. And everybody had pets, and everybody said, I'm so sorry, but we will not put our name down for CFIA. We
Yeah,
don't trust them.
no kidding. I just want to pause there for a sec. There's so much wrong with this because, number one, if this was such a biohazard risk to the point that they had to kill your ostriches a year after they caught a flu and spend almost $700 million to do so, why on earth would they even leave such a risk for wild birds to come perch on, as we saw shortly after the massacre, and potentially spread whatever they claimed was there to other farms? The other thing is, you talk about this fire risk, which we know in British Columbia is always a thing. But need I remind the viewers that there were multiple fires on this hay? This hay combusted under the care of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency right under their noses. And now it's just sitting there with potentially live ammo, which we've covered and things like that before. This seems outrageous. So now just tell us, you thought you guys had 180 days. They're saying, no, 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 you're still under quarantine. You still have to suffer. You still can't tend or protect yourself with this part of land. And that mess still has to sit here. What exactly is their excuse for saying such? And you said they threatened you with potential jail time?
They're saying that 180 foul days actually starts at temperatures of +4 and above. And we have to have that many 180 days of +4. So they calculated through NACUSP weather pattern. So they didn't actually check their weather pattern accurately either, because we have total opposite weather of NACUSP.
Mm-hmm.
Our weather pattern comes from Nelson, from the Castlegar area. So they did not look at anything in correspondence to actually the weather pattern, but they said you're at 79 days only, according to our calculation through NACUSP. So we have 100 days still to go, which is all of summer. So our hay will combust. But in the letter I wrote them, I said, this is now a community hazard as well. So if we have to wait another 100 days, it will combust. And now we potentially are going to set the forest on fire and possibly the farm and possibly the valley. And that's what it's such an overreach. And how they can come back and say that now we have to wait for another 100 days.
As many of you know, the overreach on display at the farm didn't just come from the CFIA. The RCMP also crossed some lines. And the neighbors of Karen, who are also her family, have a lawsuit making serious allegations against the RCMP, including the following.
Well, they seized the property and they had complete control of the entire 28 acres. There's a slight fence line encroachment, and they use that as justification to use the entire 28 acres. They set it up not for biosecurity purposes, but for operational control. They had tactical truck, they had their full operations set up in basically our backyard. So they would circle us 24/7. There would be at least 36 of them on our property at all times. They would make sure that we had to give our ID upon entering. They would, if we ever went in and they didn't notice us right away, like if we were on foot and went through our gate, they would chase us up the driveway with cameras often. They were just constantly harassing us. So in their lawsuit, they stated that although they put high-powered lights shining every which way into our property, and down the driveway towards Karen's house. When they found out that my mom had a medical condition that's triggered by light, she has epilepsy, we told them that, and they fought with us that they were not going to turn off those lights, which we have recorded. And then in their lawsuit, they said that when they found that out, that they worked with the family to make sure the lights were turned off when she was approaching. I mean, we have it on camera where they told my mom to just close her eyes or wear sunglasses at night if she didn't like the lights. And I mean, there's lots of stuff in their response to our lawsuit that's just absolutely false, that we have proof that it's false. I was just really shocked that they would outright lie in their response in court record about what happened.
Well, that seems outrageous. And of course, you can't tell me what they're thinking when they're doing it, this federal run RCMP agency. But what is your guess as to why they would lie on record if you have the proof?
I honestly think that they just believed that everything that we have, that we recorded when this was happening is already out there. They already thought that. I think they didn't realize that we didn't publish a lot of video, that evidence that we have. Like I think they just are used to lying and they thought they would get away with it. But we have video of everything that we put in our lawsuit. We made sure that I didn't put anything in there that I don't have proof of. And I think they just didn't realize. They just thought that we published everything.
I think Allison is absolutely right. Karen and her supporters had a saying, the world is watching. And in many cases they were. But the truth is, so much of what was uncovered on that farm couldn't actually make it to the public, even though we live streamed and showed you so many reports, over 100. That's why I'm so proud of what is coming at cullingthecure.com in that documentary. But it seems the CFIA is still hell-bent on pushing nonsensical policies that are harming the well-being and livelihoods of farmers like Karen.
And this is just a punishment to show the world, you know what? If you stand up, guess what? This will happen to you too. So they're trying to break us in every which way. But they messed with the wrong family. They found out we are one tight, tough family, and we're not backing down.
You can find out more about the farm's ongoing plight at justicefortheostriches.com. And also, they invite you to their reunion that's coming up this August, which you can find out about there too, going to camp there with what's left of the farm. Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. At Rebel News, we bring you the other side of the story, and we are going to do that in a big way with this film. Not only did we investigate and are going to bring you unseen footage and more, We also hired a lawyer to help us really get through the nitty gritty of what lines have or have not been crossed. If you want to be a part of supporting our efforts to do this important documentary and bring it to light, please donate what you can at cullingthecure.com.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of nice. It is paradise. Like, generally, everything around here is paradise, except for the dystopian nature when you look a little further. They went unannounced the other day.
Oh, really? I thought it was just the CFIA. Why did they come?
So the CFIA did send emails. We can get into the details of all of that. The RCMP rolled up unannounced. That thing, I think a courtesy call would have probably been in order after everything that's happened here. Full detachment for the RCMP, who serve as the police force of jurisdiction for most rural areas, similar to OPP do, kind of in Ontario, that you would be familiar with. Their commander, who was involved heavily from the start. So, like, I mean, I got here in October of last year, I guess. But there'd been ongoing, there'd been ongoing stuff. Yeah, I've come and gone, but there'd been ongoing things for a long time. And the commander from that detachment was very close and working closely with family. And he kind of left before all the stuff really got crazy here. Went on paternity leave, I was told. And he's come back briefly. So, I mean, maybe it's a courtesy visit, wellness check. I have a history with the commander of the detachment in the cusp.
So was he like a sergeant or something? He can't be too high, right?
Yeah, no. And even at the point, like, so even when the operation was ongoing here, that was an operation that, although he was the detachment commander, he just had a previous kind of relationship before the RCMP and the CFIA operation started here. So once that happened, like, I mean, basically everyone, right? I mean, he didn't have any kind of control position at that point.
They're gonna bring in the people who aren't familiar or don't have a report for the.
Yeah, it's a separate chain of command. It's like a critical incident kind of team, or I don't know exactly the verbiage that they would use.
So why did the commander of the local detachment, who's an hour away in Numchuck, you said? No, not sorry. Nakusp, why did he come to the farm? Did you say hi? Sorry, my nose is
I mean,
really itchy.
it seems so. Sorry, hard to say exactly. It was immediately after the CFIA sent an email saying that anyone. What's that?
Did he bring up anything? Did he talk about the email that you guys got?
No, not really. No, not.
Okay.
But you don't know, right? So, I mean, it's been over 7 months. There's been times that people have been in and out of these fields. CBC, the state actually went out there and filmed for quite a long time. So, like, if these guys come after me for breaking a quarantine, they better damn well come after the CBC and their huge production crew, you know?
Are they wearing Tyvek suits and all that?
No,
Closed systems with the hazmat view thing there with the camera guy with inside of a bubble suit? No? It was
no.
Okay.
No.
Well, I guess
Just
that
like,
reach as well.
Yeah, just like no one was doing that beforehand, right? During the night of the call operation, like a guy, one of the marksmen had his dog. They were all in civilian clothing. No one wore PPE.
The rules for thee and not for me, right? That's just the ever-going motto of our great and benevolent government of Canada. So I guess you could, this is more going to be like, I think, like a casual conversation about everything, but we're starting off because you've got the great, beautiful background, the rolling hills there. You're still in BC, so I'll go there. Is that where you're staying? People want to know. Are you staying in BC? What are you doing with your life? Come on, tell us everything.
Yeah, God, I wish I knew. I left for a little bit. I was here, like, I stayed a little while after the call, and then me and Mike went all the way west, like, at least as far as Vancouver. Then we started making our way east, and we made it as far as Calgary before a lot of catastrophic problems with Bob Smith.
And the truck just kept breaking down. That was really
continuously.
That's an expensive truck, and we'll talk more about Mike later, but Mike has been through so much, and we both know him very well. Everyone knows Mike really well, and we'll be touching up with him soon. We'll be talking to him at some point. We're going to do that promised thing that we said we would do a long time ago, where we would check in on him and see what he's up to. But thank God, as I know right now, the truck is rolling. It had so many problems over the winter, and he's having problems with the VAC now. I don't know what the status of that is. Last I heard,
I heard that as well. Yeah, and luckily I was able to see Mike a couple of times briefly here as he was going back. He picked up something for someone. He's going back here. He's picking up people on the way and just doing Mike stuff, just helping everyone out. Even while he's dealing with all the things he's dealing with. So it was really nice to catch up with him. Hopefully some of that stuff turns around a little bit and we can get that from him when it's time or whatever. But.
We'll wait for that, but just shocking that what he has to go through from the truck to the issues with the VAC and all that. So we'll talk about that with him when it's time for it. But I'm glad to hear that his truck is moving, at least thank the Lord for that. And I'm glad to hear that you guys are still safe out there. And so this email that you got from the CFIA, basically, what was it kind of telling you? You got this terrible email?
Yeah, I mean, it was, okay, for transferring, was sent to Karen Esperson, the owner of the farm. So I posted a video the day that we finally, it's been over 7 months, well over 7 months now since the culling, since the mass slaughter here. all the hay bales are left behind. Like there's piles that are like 12 feet high. There's places where I can obviously see that they've at least smoldered, if not entirely combusted. I found live ammunition out there. There's some major concerns. Plus, the family has to look at this disgusting reminder of what happened here all the time. There's been not a single CFIA agent come back since they left. No one's come back. There's been no direction. Finally, after all this time, we looked through some stuff and figured that, you know what, it's probably okay. If CBC can go out there and film the documentary, then probably we could go out and maybe abate a fire risk or the risk of ammunition popping off. And I posted a video as we did that, just trying to share what was going on in the update, and it went pretty viral. I think it ended up with over 1 million views actually, which is that's not small. Particularly with me not posting much. The next day, email comes into Karen stating that you are still under quarantine. You are subject to a bunch of things. Talked about fallow periods and different times and temperatures that need to be reached. Temperatures that they're reading like 100 kilometers from here. There's a bunch of problems with that. But the main crux of it was at the very end, it said you could be subject to monetary penalty or prosecution, which is something that I hadn't heard before. I mean, I know there's monetary fines. They normally slap them with like $10,000 fines. Every time you turn around, bam, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000.
Turn around, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
Yeah, I know. That's how it's been, right? And there's been these fines levied, right? Like, well, exactly. And it's impossible, right? They take away the ability. They killed all your animals. They occupied your land for 52 days. They left everything destroyed. They left the rest
And that was
behind.
and if I may, that was a real occupation by force with weapons.
Yes,
Nothing like the
unarmed,
people in Ottawa
unarmed
complaining about-
occupation.
It's nothing compared to what the protests in Ottawa. Occupation in Ottawa. For the courts and for the reference of the media, they can look to what happened in Edgewood in the farm to see what an actual occupation looks like under force by an armed force, an armed occupier by force.
Yeah, and I would say a
Giving you-
hostile
using
force.
it
I would say a hostile force.
under threat of violence and arrest, preventing you from use and enjoyment of your property. Sounds like mischief, but it's okay when the gang does it. But
Yeah,
anyways,
well, that kind of mischief would be, right? Like, what did they ask for Tamara? Almost 9 years? 14 years, I think they were talking about at one
I
point.
think in the appeal, I think they're down to 5 years now. But honestly, I've been checked out of everything. We'll talk about that.
5 years, though.
We're going to talk about everything. They wanted a long time. I think they wanted 10 or 12, the statutory maximum, I believe, at one point. I think they might still be asking for it, or maybe 5.
Absolutely crazy.
They're still appealing it, so it's not over.
Yeah. And what happened here really was like a 52-day armed occupation. People have seen them, I'm sure, seen the videos. If not, there's lots of ways to find them. But the RCMP rolled in here really heavy with the CFIA. They took over the ostrich property of the farm. They didn't take over the living area of that farm. So Karen Esperson lives and has a property that would be across Lansville Road from there. They didn't take over that property, but they took over all the ostrich lands, and then they took over adjoining properties to it, which included another private dwelling. So they seized and surrounded another private dwelling, right? And then these people had to go through an armed checkpoint every day, coming in and out. They were surveilled by drones. You know, they had RCMP camping out in their yard, having a bonfire. It was a really messed up situation. Oh yeah.
Marshmallows?
Well, I mean, I heard them one night, and they're like talking shop, kind of like, you know, I can hear them talking about their wives or whatever, or their old ladies back home, and, you know, weird stuff. They're having a bonfire. It was like safari. Well, it was like safari at first for them, right? Like they're sitting in this gorgeous, basically paradise, and they're having a bonfire, and they're, you know, on someone else's land, but whatever. And they're just watching these creatures run around. There's like hundreds of ostriches. Have you ever seen an ostrich?
Not in person. Oh, yes, actually, probably at the Papineau Zoo or whatever it is. The Papineau Zoo, kind of in our area. You remember, you know, your vast local Ottawa area knowledge. You know, like there's a petting zoo around.
I know the Papineau Zoo. I think it has more like local animals, but yeah.
I think there was like a tiger.
I think I had an ibex trying to get me.
There was like a big cat at one of these types of
yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some pretty exotic animals as they're called. So that's not good that this is still ongoing all this time later, and there's no clear timeline in that email about how it's going to go down, is there?
No, not really. I mean, it's basically threatening. If people want to look, I'll share it later in the comments or whatever. But I shared the contents of that email recently in a post. It basically says, you know, follow our policy. You have to do this. The problem with this is that there's no communication. There's no back and forth. There's a giant government bureaucracy that seems to be able to employ a paramilitary force with unlimited resources to come in and go after like a family farm. But if you want to send an email or get any kind of communication, that's impossible. They left what was allegedly the largest biohazard like in the history of man. It necessitated $7 million and hundreds of police working in 12-hour shifts and, you know, multiple drone operators and like absolutely crazy. No, it's absolutely
dragging
crazy.
the dirt into their vehicles, into their places, into their fobs, into their offices. They weren't following any of the procedures. And
No,
then when you commented and you filmed them breaking the rules, they're like, "Hold on, that's not the case. They went
yeah,
down
yeah,
the road
no.
and they totally wiped it down, and it was 100% to the letter, perfect." No, it's not. It's a joke. They're lying. But I'm sorry to hear that you guys are still dealing with that. Yeah, we've never been
Melissa
our
Marie.
Melissa. We do love her, Melissa. We do love Melissa. She's great. She's fantastic. God is good. Look at what he made in BC. It's easier to see in BC sometimes than maybe in Ottawa. But I think Ottawa's pretty
God
good.
is great.
What are you doing? Well, do you have a plan for things? Are you coming back to Ottawa? People want to know. Are you ever going to come back? Are you ever going to come cover the protest? Are you ever going to come ask these MPs the questions that need to be asked? Because
I'd like to. I mean, I miss some of that. On my stressful days, what like I kind of wish for is like to just be walking headfirst into a Palestinian mob with the police threatening me. Like I kind of know that. I'm good at it. I do miss that a little bit. I don't miss the other stuff though. Like it's a weird feeling. Like I honestly also worry about like trying to fly home and I just get picked up at the airport or whisked away or and that's not beyond the realm of possibility. I don't think I'm being paranoid saying that.
And if they wanted to pick you up, like they would
They
have got
would
you
have.
by now. They know where you are. They know very well where you are, Mr.
Stacy here. Yeah. It's like after the convoy when the was it the police chief that I called out? I think it was the police chief.
Yes, Steve Bell. Acting Chief Steve Bell. I will hunt you down.
Acting chief. Why don't I
That's
act
what
like
he
a
said.
man?
That's his quote. That's his quote. We will hunt you down no matter how long it takes.
And they did, man.
Get you.
I called out for it. They hunted me down. They knocked on my door right after. These
Guys
guys.
in the boiler room.
Yeah.
They found, but here you are today. Like I said, I don't really think that's a significant issue. But like, do you see yourself coming back to Ottawa? Like, do you have a temporary or a long term plan there?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like to. I also feel like I have some real loose ends there. I mean, friends I left behind, and my family's there. I miss my dad. Hey, Dad. Happy belated Father's Day and birthday. I miss you. I miss a lot of it. And there's been a huge vacuum. I guess I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn or whatever, but there's so many things that aren't being covered in Ottawa because I'm not out there covering.
Absolutely, because you were very good at the street reporting, one of the best in Canada, right up there. You, Karima Saad,
Karima, yeah.
You guys are like that, right? So you're always noting his trademark moves, like his scooter swoop pass, one arm on the handlebar, one arm.
Dude, he is incredible. I tried riding the scooter and filming. I nearly bailed.
He almost died. Yeah. He almost crashed. It was like the cartoon when the shopping cart goes over the cliff and it explodes. That's exactly what he did.
Basically. Yeah.
On a relevant, kind of not related note at all, remember that time we were in Brampton? First time we ever went to Brampton together, middle of the night, truck having a brake fire because his brake
shooting flames out of the back end of his truck.
And I'm yelling out the side passenger window at this guy. We're on our way to a PR rally. I'm like, slow down, your wheels are on fire. And then Mitch is driving the car. Legendary. What a beautiful trip that was. Sudbury, such a gorgeous.
That was incredible. That entire end.
What a memory.
For context, Jonathan and I went all over Ontario following Pierre Poilievre as he finished his rallies coming back to Ottawa before the election. It was incredible too. We don't need to get into all of our PP thoughts and whatever, but I found to watch that made a huge difference for me to see to personalize it, to see what he was doing. We saw his wife. He came and met us like afterwards one time. It was an interesting thing. I wish more people could have seen that side of things.
Oh God, it was amazing, and the atmosphere was electric. It was kind of close to the feeling of hope at the convoy. Not exactly the same, but I love when hope is palpable in the air, and it's few and far between here in Canada these days. So I love being able to share and spread that feeling. That's what I like. And that was awesome. But particularly, we went to Brampton. This guy's truck's on fire. I'm yelling out the window, "Hey, buddy!" And I'm telling Mitch, who's driving, our good buddy Mitch, what a great guy. Mitch is awesome.
Yeah,
Who knows him? Mitch Huber. We love Mitch. He's amazing.
Solid.
Heart on his sleeve kind of guy. And I'm like yelling. I'm like, Mitch, we gotta slow down. We gotta tell this guy his brakes are smoking. He's like, it's Brampton, bro. It's Brampton. That's the video.
So that was interesting. And
then what happened?
So we were leaving. I think it was Vaughan. I don't know. All these cities are so close. But we ended in Brampton. Trucks on fire. Then we go with a bunch of people. Karima, Lee, some people that were also at the thing. Yeah. And then we got reality docu reality. We go with a few people to this Indian restaurant that I think that Karima and Lee recommended. And we're all eating in there. I go out for a smoke. I was just having a smoke.
You're a guy having a smoke.
Well, and a guy came in as I'm having a smoke and just gets in the car and leaves. And I didn't think anything of it. Then this other guy comes out of the restaurant. He's like, "Where's my car?" I'm like, The guy just jumped. So a guy stopped to get food, went into the restaurant, an Uber Eats guy. And before he came out, this other guy had gotten in his car and left.
I was inside, but this guy literally got out of his car, went into the restaurant to try to pick up the food and leave. And by the time he had gotten out of the restaurant, it wasn't that long at all, maybe 3
No,
minutes.
no, it was short.
Somebody had just jumped in the car and just took it. That's wild. You're talking about the crime in Canada. Like, it's right there, right in your face. This guy's just going around the restaurant to everybody, like, what do I do now? And it's like, well, call the police. And we called the police. They didn't really know.
I think actually, like, to the credit,
They told them to come
or
to
whatever,
or something.
somebody gave him a ride home, and I guess, like,
I don't think the police showed up while we were still there.
no, I think he gave him a ride home. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they told this guy, come tomorrow.
Report it online.
Yeah, or something like that. It's wild. It's actually, is this in progress now? Is this a violent incident? No? Okay. Come over to this, like, they could just grab the car and go like they're playing Grand Theft Auto. And
Well, and the fact that this doesn't even hit the radar of the police. I'm like, we just witnessed the combat. Like, it's the guy's going. They're like, no, we're good, man.
Is it in progress? Does the guy have a weapon? Is he still there now? Okay, see you later. Come by tomorrow. Come tell us about this. $25,000 down the lake. There's Jeff. Jeff, I actually had just mentioned you. He's one of my very earliest subscribers. We ran into him, Mr. Jeff, at the one of the Polyev rallies. I think it was the one outside the air hangar. One of the ones out of the hangar, not the one.
Oh, that one was cool, man. And I lined up smashed at the front. That one was really cool.
When you mean smashed at the front, you mean
Like squished against the
went up on the ladder, and that's the one where everyone was screaming at him. I think that was
Yeah.
We ran into Jeff. He was coming down. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm right here." And so I met Jeff over there. I think that was Vaughn. Was that Vaughn? Where was that, Jeff? You tell me.
Vaughn, I think was right. Yeah, whatever, man. It's all a blur.
It was
After
awesome.
that one at the airport hangar was really cool because we got to go to. We were hosted by such a nice lady after that.
You're talking about Sudbury. Yes, Sudbury airport hangar, but there was another airport hangar in
We
another
did what?
city.
What hangars? Yeah, see, it's also incredible.
You might not have been there for Sudbury, but not the other one. Anyways, I think the other one's when I went with Mike by myself.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, okay, that's a whole different one. Yeah, that one was
That's
amazing.
when I met Jeff.
They had Spark on the ground, and Mike is taking pictures, and there's Pierre and Mike in his maroon with his medals. That was incredible.
That was
Man.
in a rally. That was a stop at a local business here in Ottawa.
That was with Barbara Ball, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, she was there, and Pierre and some other. I think all the Ottawa candidates were there. All the West Ends. There was quite a few candidates that were there, and we came all the way from we had literally come from the GTA that day, and we just barely made it to the event at 11:30 or 1:30 or something. So we were up early driving back, and we made it in time because Mike's an expert navigator. You'll never get lost with this guy.
I know.
Where you go.
I know, dude. Like literally, you don't need. Oh, no.
You don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need the GPS. I had a feedback issue.
Oh yeah.
Send him up a mountain, man. He'll get you wherever.
The mountains
Send
are
him
great.
anywhere. He will get you there.
I wouldn't want to race this guy in a mountain, man. Even at he looks 4 years younger than he is.
He went up at a leisurely pace, man, and I was so gassed the whole time. Like, no, let's go down 5 miles. Let's go up that ridge. We'll come across here. And
So you're not able to say. I have to circle back. You're not able to say if you're coming back to Ottawa anytime soon. You can't tell.
I might. Yeah, I might.
We'll leave it up in the air.
I don't know. Like, if I do come back, I don't really know what I'm coming back to. That would be a different life. Like, I may come back to do some work. Like, Will, might come back to do some stuff there.
Some
And
good stuff.
yeah, I've seen that, and I'm so happy, man. Like, in Ottawa's, man, this goes to show the state of our country. Like, these are real life examples of how bad things have gotten in Canada. You know, people who are willing to work their balls off, like Will. Just work every day, work 7 days a week, and would work and do any job. And then he ends up almost losing everything because there's just no work. And Ottawa's been an insulated city for a long time. Like, there's 50% of families probably have a government salary of some sort.
Yeah.
We've been majorly insulated from a lot of the ups and downs of other stuff. Like I've been in trades my entire life before this, and there was always work. Like, if you were willing to go out and find work, didn't always pay as good as you wanted or whatever, but there was always work.
Right.
But I've talked to guys who were 30 years an electrician and they don't know what they're doing next Monday.
Yeah, it's
So it's
rough. I
hard.
mean, the building at a speed never seen before didn't seem to pan out. And I'll be honest, this is a good segue. I've been totally checked out from all of that, from the bills, from the news, from the politics, completely checked out. I haven't gone downtown since, I think, the last time you were in Ottawa. I mean, I was there for the court cases, I think, at the end of 2020.
Maybe we can go back together.
And I did. So I haven't really been back there, to my knowledge. I mean, I've gone on drives to the hospital, which is west of downtown. The hospital. So I guess we can talk a little bit about that, because we're talking about everything here. There's no particular agenda
No,
here.
you're talking.
So health-wise, I'm alive, which is great. I haven't seen Chris since the surgery. Chris and I have been in contact. Obviously, we've had nice phone calls and stuff. It's different with, Chris. I consider him genuinely to be one of my very best friends. So, not only do we do all this crazy chaos and street journalism and asking all these big questions to the right important people and developing reports even sometimes, but
We actually have developed reports with some of these crazy people.
Yeah, which is crazy. And sometimes they use it as subterfuge to disarm an interaction, so that you
Yeah.
can't ask a good question.
Thanks, Marco Mendocino, but yeah.
Mark Miller, we'll get
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
No, not. We're not gonna. It's not like that. We're gonna ask him a question. We have more questions for him because this is the guy.
You called him a racist, Mark. Mark, you called him a racist.
But then, as an example, we had this really cordial conversation off camera, and it was a reasonable conversation, like you would have with just anybody you.
Yeah, and I think that was an actual real conversation. And like people will accuse me of trying to pull gotchas or whatever all the time. I don't. And when I'm emotional with one of these people, like it comes from personal experience. Like I've been beaten and robbed
I
and
just gotta stop you
stalked.
for a second there. One more second. I just have to clarify
Yeah.
with the RCMP and the Ottawa Police Service. There's no get you. That doesn't mean anything. We're not going to pull a Chad here where we have 12 constables.
Oh yes, yes.
Because of misspeaking. And that's not what I mean.
I mean, I got you. I don't mean any sort of ambush or type scenario. I meant like it's not.
There's no violence. There's nothing. This is about asking questions to elected leaders within the realm of the law, within the realm of acceptable behavior.
Well, what do you think about?
Let's not read into any of this.
So, what do you think about the fact that you have to make that stipulation now?
Honestly, I don't think I really do. I just thought it would be kind of funny to say it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, yeah. Well,
I mean, maybe
might
I
have
do,
to.
but I honestly, I have pretty good encounters generally with the police on the street when I've had to see them. I've never had to, it's never gone beyond any of that. I choose my words very carefully, and you have to. If
Yeah,
you're gonna be around
that's
anybody.
why. I mean, I've been accused of different things, or people have piled on me for things that say in my comment feed or something. But I mean,
Not
I'm
myself.
very careful about what I say, not only publicly but in general, because anything. First of all, everything you say matters, but certain things we say could really matter, and it's just.
Well, especially if you have an audience, or even if you're in proximity to certain people, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're an elected person or anybody else. If you're just talking about somebody in such a way that someone else is going to interpret that as a threat, that could be an issue in any case, but particularly with elected people and other powerful bureaucrats. But of course, that's never been our behavior. We've been profiled 6,000 times each, so we're not under those violent categories of.
And if they thought we were a threat, I mean, like.
You would have never gotten anywhere you did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And they've tried hard. They've tried really hard at times. I don't think that necessarily.
When they want it, when they want to keep someone away,
like crazy.
but that's different because like how the police work right now with the systems they have, they know where you are 24/7. So if they really didn't want you to get anywhere near you, they would have stopped you the second you left your house. You know what I mean? They would have been at your door waiting for you.
I mean, they tried to do it with intimidation. I think at times,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, they don't like running. Certainly with a lot of these people, you have like personality clashes. I think maybe where they generally just don't like you. They don't like other people. They don't like. They think.
I don't even know. I almost like to clarify. I don't think it's that they don't like me necessarily so much. I don't think they like the situation they're in and what they have to deal with. They're really frustrated. Like I've had long conversations with multiple police officers. I sat down with the sergeant actually for quite a while on a bench. After a pretty major incident in downtown Ottawa, after the Pride Parade was taken over, people were fighting the police. It got completely canceled. Queers for Palestine took over, fought the Pride Parade, shut it down, spray painted the whole street, fought police, and having conversations afterwards, and at times, allegedly.
Was it chalk? Was it chalk?
Was it- What's that, sorry?
Paint? Was it paint or chalks?
No, it was paint. Like,
Oh wow, you think that would get a mischief?
yeah, they were there for hours. Not only was it paint, but they were like, the police abandoned the police cruiser directly in front of the Prime Minister's office after getting overrun.
Oh, I remember that one. That was a different case.
That was the Pride Parade day. It escalated later, man.
There was another case where the RCMP protective detail was coming down the street, was swerved and had
Yes.
to turn away.
Oh, shit, we should find that one. That one was crazy.
Security breach. Can you imagine? If that happened in the United States, those people, there would be like a use of force escalation against those people.
It sounds like I'm being like exaggerating or hyperbolic, but during the scene, I had left the phone on a tripod while I was trying to film, and I missed some of it, and everything was crazy. There was people on the hood of the RCMP, and not just a random RCMP vehicle. This was Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of
I don't
Canada's
think
RCMP detail. So they came in, his was parked, they came in to try to lend support or whatever, and they got literally chased out. They jumped on their hoods, Ottawa police withdrew, and the RCMP reversed and ran away.
Yeah, but it's also important to clarify that there's like Justin wasn't in that vehicle. But
No, he wasn't in the vehicle. He was in his office. He was in his office, and his immediate detail was there. And these three other RCMP protective detail vehicles came in support because Justin Trudeau was in his office with a violent mob outside. And then as these three vehicles came in support, pro-Palestinian, I don't know what you would call them, was a Palestinian protest, jumped on the hood of these vehicles. OPS, Ottawa Police Service, withdrew, and then the RCMP backed out, ran away. And then they screamed at me about it. Then they yelled at me about it. Like,
who did? The police?
OPS. Like, fuck you, Casey.
there's a lot of frustration, probably multi-directional, multi-dimensional. But
Well,
it's
that's what I
interesting.
think. Often it's misplaced, right? So they're pissed off at me because I'm the one that's the fire point for the crowd. But just because a mob of violent protesters hates me does not mean that I'm doing something illegal or that I don't have every legal right to be there or that I'm the cause of the problem.
If you were doing something illegal, you'd have been arrested by now. This
Yeah,
is
for sure.
essentially how it works. So that's as far as you need to say it. But what else you could say is that the thing about that, and I really want to point out, is beyond all those intricacies of your relationship crashes, of all the different relationships and dynamic of that, it's just the act of what was happening more than jumping on the trunk or the hood. It was like a physical impediment of a protected vehicle. And if this was the United States with the Secret Service or something, I cannot imagine the situation going at all the same way. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
especially,
it would depend on the state, right? Like if this happened with the federal police force and Trump, no way it would ever happen. Yeah, no way it would ever happen.
Service across the board has a
You're right.
pretty standard operating procedure for any protectee, and so they would never tolerate blockading of a vehicle like that. I don't know what they would do in response. I mean, actually,
I mean, they would probably drive through it.
They could, yeah. It depends on the scenario, but I can think of an incident actually of I think it was Kamala Harris as she was outgoing in 2024 maybe, or maybe early 2025, and there was a wrong way driver. I think it was in Baltimore. I don't remember where. There's a body cam of this. So there was the huge, because at that point they have like 15, 20, 30 vehicles, U.S. Secret Service, for just the vice president, right? And there's a wrong way driver on this freeway system at night, and they have the local police and the state police or whoever else protecting all the on ramps and whatever else, right? A wrong way driver comes past on this like in the protection zone. And obviously, local police take the vehicle down. They do like a traffic stop. Guy was, I think, extremely intoxicated, just a drunk driver. But so they didn't resort to like hitting him or anything like that. I don't believe they did. So.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I took you off, Tony. I'm just trying to figure out how.
Just an example. I just can't see that playing out the same in the United States at all. Or I guess we're changing the.
I don't know.
Crazy stories, but other than all that, like, how's your life going? Besides all the crazy memories and awesome experience. Let's not be mistaken here. A lot of this, as we touched on, has been absolutely amazing. What a blessing from God.
Yeah, dude. It's honestly, yeah, and I'd like to echo that as my experience with all of this, like leading into convoy and into COVID. COVID was fucking terrible. It sucked. A lot of people really got rocked, and things were really terrible. The convoy was amazing. Rolled in around me. I got to experience all that. Then everyone got the crap beat out of them and pushed out of town. And then I was like, okay, I'm still here, inside, like sandwiched between police lines or whatever. From there, it was just like, it's been an incredible experience. All of that was hard. Some of it was amazing. Some of it was like the worst stuff I thought I'd ever seen. But the experience since, like everything, all of it has been a blessing, including this. Even the first thing when I came out here, like everything is such an extreme dystopian, like.
I'm sorry, it looks really great today.
Yes. But like we could take a little walk and we could go find hell.
A
Also,
lot of hard memories there. And also,
so it's a weird thing. It's weird to miss the police. Like when the police first left, I had a lot of trouble with that. Oddly enough, but you get used to a certain thing, and that's the way I knew it. Now it's quiet. There's no birds. There's no police. Till one rolls up unannounced.
At least it was a cordial visit.
Yeah, it was cordial. Yeah, but it's nice. And honestly, like man. I never like thought about wanting to be some guy in the middle of a Palestinian mob or getting like jumped and beaten and robbed in a park with politicians watching or being slandered in the House of Commons or any of this really. Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like a little bit like I've abdicated a responsibility in Ottawa a little bit, but at the same point, I have found something that's pure paradise. I think probably if I, going forward, I'll start posting more and re-engaging. I can cover a lot of things from anywhere, but I can't cover the same things that I did in Ottawa if I'm not in Ottawa. So.
Yeah. It's all about what works best for you, man. Like I said, I just disconnected because the news cycle, it's all the same. It's like all negative. And my life is better for it. My life is better for it. Like mental health, I feel good. I'm having fun. Life is going well for me, honestly. Like all things considered.
I've disconnected a ton, but unfortunately there's a bunch of issues man, a journalist shouldn't get attached to a story. Am I a journalist? I don't know what I am. Like I film crazy things and I say what I think about it and I'm getting better at it and I'd like to do that like with a more journalistic intent, but like I'm still me, right? I'm just a guy. So it's
carpenter.
Yeah. Just a lowly carpenter from Ottawa.
So you don't have any plans set in stone yet? Obviously,
No,
I wanted to mention this because you said this earlier about the fire. Like that's a risk with hay bales, or maybe some people don't know about that, but they can combust, right? They could just
definitely.
if they're not dry or treated properly. So when the CFI brought in these bales, there's some fires And they try to. There's insinuations, implications, accusations, how they started, but they have been known hay bales, especially if they're.
So
if they're
yeah, there has been accusations that these fires were set or were arson or
if they're
something like
wet,
that.
right?
Oh, sorry.
Your other phone's loading in, I think.
Yeah, I'll take
You
it.
have a phone.
Which one I want?
But isn't that counterintuitive though? that it's more likely to catch fire when it's too wet. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, okay. So what happens is there. Hold on here.
You accidentally looked in your other phone.
Yeah.
Hi.
That's the producing phone. Jonathan is normally the mastermind of this operation, and I normally just come in and talk. Like in this one, I set the whole thing up.
Yeah, he's great.
He's oh man, come on, guys. Yeah. So okay. So in all seriousness, though, as strong. I mean, I get shit for this all the time, guys. I'm not a farmer. Like I know about some stuff, and I've looked into it, but well, I'm not. I mean, I'm learning.
Excuse me. I saw a picture of you from Smith Falls in like 2023.
Oh shit! That's old school baseball. I know, no, we should say that.
So I think you are a farmer, dude. So other than that, though, like how life's going really good then.
No, hold on. Yes. So if hay bales are left wet and stacked too high, then as they dry, not only bacteria and stuff can form, but evaporation causes heat. So there can be the situation where there's like a runaway heat effect, and the dry straw or some of the straw in there catches fire. Like this is a well-known thing for farmers. There's a reason that you leave hay bales with air to move around. There's a reason you don't pile it too high. These hay bales actually did catch on fire a bunch of times. It's been alleged that some of that was maybe arson. I don't know how a person can sneak through a field with 100 RCMP and giant bright light shining at them to do that. That seems difficult to me. But I've also found parts in the middle of bales that have clearly smoldered, like obviously. It's charred, it's black, it's carbon like left behind, and that's in the middle of a bale. So that's a bale that created enough heat that there was smoldering, if not actual combustion. And this is something I've ran into numerous times with work. I've done hardwood flooring, all kinds of different renovations for you guys. If you're sanding a hardwood floor, your sawdust, like when we take it, we put it outside in a big pile on an area that could never catch fire. So I'll put it out in the middle of the driveway. One time I went for lunch, emptied a bag of sawdust, came back, and the whole thing was completely on fire. So this isn't like an unheard of thing. I think a lot of people know about this. If people are pretending this isn't a risk, then they're lying. The fact that there's also live ammunition left behind is concerning. I'm not saying that's going to pop off and shoot like a rifle round. It won't, right? Without a barrel, a round isn't going to have the same danger and velocity, maybe, but it can still take out someone's eye, and it's still not okay to leave your live ammunition behind after a slaughter or your brass.
And they, it's reasonable to expect that they want to use the property again for whatever, right? They want to be able to move on from this and not just look at this heap of trash and be reminded of what happened to them, right? Like forcefully reminded of it. Well, everybody wants to move on, right? Let me just put it that way. Everybody wants to move on in the most best way. So on the topic of moving on, obviously the CBC made their documentary, which I'm sure you're not a fan of. I haven't seen it yet, but I've read what people have said about it, and has the other perspective that you guys are producing, that you're involved in producing, is that almost ready, or has that come out yet?
So Rebel is working on one. Hold on here. Oh, I'm stuck on stage.
Yeah, don't worry about that. The comments.
No working this stuff up. Yeah, so Rebel is working on a documentary that should be coming out soon. I think it'll be pretty good. They spent a lot of time. And
do you have a timeline on that, or is it like not?
I'm not. No, not really. And I'm not going to try to scoop them or whatever. Like, but they've worked really. This is going to be a bigger documentary than the kind of like short report that you might expect from Rebel News. I think it's going to be pretty in depth. They've gone all over the place and done a ton of interviews. Rebel News was also here for a lot of this. Ezra came out. Drea was here a bunch of times and has come back. Sheila was here. So, they know the story and how important it is. And they're just taking, I think they wanted it out prior to now, but they're just taking a little more time to make sure that they really do it right.
Yeah.
Like, they're not only retarded, but they're retarded.
They're insane. They're insane. And like there's a guy there who honestly a wind will blow him over.
Yeah.
Will blow him over, and he's like pointing in your face. He's like, "You want to come?" I don't remember what he said to you, but one of these guys I think were threatening to beat him up, and he's just going crazy.
No, threatening me. I'm like, dude, I just came here to tell this guy about his policy. Like, what's your problem?
This guy is claiming to be like the hero of Canada, fighting. He calls himself.
Hey, Ryan has his back.
He needs to go to the sanatorium. He needs to go. That should be somebody should look into them a little bit.
But that is messed up and concerning. Where like a sitting member of parliament can verbally abuse and incite a mob at a person when members of that party can also slander that same person on the record. And then government-funded news rags can write articles about their protected speech in the House. Like, they all have parliamentary privilege, right? So they can lie and slander me or whatever without recourse. And then also, the rag that they fund can write a story about them doing
But
that.
on the sidewalk outside of Parliament, he called you a Putin fascist. You're a Putin fascist. Like, first of all, what the hell is that? And
I
second
don't
of all,
know.
Can you prove it at
I don't
all?
know.
Can you prove
I
that at
don't
all?
know.
What are you saying? Are you saying I'm an employee of
I told him that
Mirovich Putin? Where's your
I
fucking
told him that I got
proof?
attacked. I'm like, you support Antifa? He's like, yes, my uncle was an
Like, I am-
anti-fascist. I'm like, well,
I
you're
couldn't
anti-fascist. You beat the shit out of me in the park and stole my phone. He's like, Garrett, you deserve it. My uncle fought him. Like, great. I don't know. Like, man, my grandfather landed on D-Day in Normandy. Like, that doesn't mean I did it.
Yeah.
But he was
My
fighting
grandpa's a
back. It's
hero.
not Charlie Angus. For fuck's sake.
He's like, I played in a punk band. I'm a hero. Anyways, there's so many people just like him. He's just
I'm getting fired up, Jonathan.
that comes to mind.
Yeah.
We miss you here in Ottawa. We do, but you need to come back and you need to.
I miss it too.
Look at what's behind you. Out here, it's raining and cloudy, and you right there, you have a gorgeous valley, beautiful blue skies, greenery everywhere. It's gorgeous. You can't beat it. So I don't blame you. But at some point, if you ever do want to come back, I'm sure everyone
Also,
will be
just
happy
like,
to see you.
sometimes it's just like, I didn't want this crazy life, like establishing a new niche of fighting the government, police, and 10,000 person Palestinian mobs and trans whatever. And like, I never tried that. Like, that's not what I wanted.
Our great host from Sudbury, that wonderful woman,
Yes.
is in the comments right now saying that it was
Oh.
wonderful to have us. That was such a great occasion to go over there and to spend that night with us, you, me, Mitch, Mitch's
Yeah, it was incredible.
at the time. It was a great experience to meet this woman. She's so fantastic. What a lovely host. Fantastic. I think we had spaghetti that night. It was great. The best.
No, she's not the only one. Like, so many people have helped us and reached out and even when it wasn't us that needed help, like the amount of people that because of this we've been able to help or connect is absolutely incredible.
It's mind blowing. It's like anytime I would ride with Mike Root in the truck, he's getting a call every 15 minutes from somebody who needs something.
I
I
know.
just talk to him, and I'm like, the amount of work and good that he's doing. And if I can make content, and if I can spread any kind of positivity, that's what I want to do. And that's why I zoom
Yeah.
in. It's just
And I always
now.
kind of got backed up for that. Like I didn't want to do that. Like I'm some kind of rage baiting piece of crap. That's not what I was doing. Just like there is crazy things going on directly in front of me, and no one else is willing to film it or get in the middle and take the risk. So I did. But it wasn't like that. Like I am not an aggressive or confrontational person. Like I'm not. I don't want to have to fight these people, honestly. But someone does sometimes. Like,
law one, I fought the law.
well, yeah. And they
Ellen
always
St.
do,
Pierre
man.
says,
They beat
if I
you
remember
down,
correctly,
huh?
I just want to read a couple of these comments real quick. So Ellen St. Pierre says, if I remember correctly, he was chanting Putin fascists over and over. Mental case, absolutely. He's, like I said, signed, sealed, and delivered to the sanatoriums. They need to reopen them, and he needs to be the first guy on the waiting list.
Well, he is not well.
No, he's not.
Right.
And that extremist mentality that he has is shared by so many in his peer group. Like they're so radicalized by CNN and CBC, it's insane. And
Well,
if you
and-
question
okay,
their orthodoxy
so-
in their belief system, they get violent with you. We saw that with the Elbows Up rallies, the way that they were treating
Yeah.
me, the way that they were the Bradford Boomer with his double middle finger cannon salute.
Yeah.
Like this is a real thing. They're super
Like
aggressive.
I joke.
They don't
I joke a
recognize
lot
the
about
reality.
this. I joke a ton about this and kind of like water off a duck's back. But I had to move. I was stalked and sexually harassed by a massive network of people. I was jumped, beaten, and robbed in a park, slandered in the House of Commons, attacked by thousands of Palestinians,
What a great
attacked by the police. Like these threats are real.
So
Like,
what's
fuck
next?
off.
We're not talking about those people. We're talking about specifically people in the peer group of Mr. Angus. But
Oh, yes, sir.
because they're radicalized. There's the
Peter
CBC audience
Gulian?
is radical.
So-
Specifically, the CBC audience is radicalized.
Yeah.
But yeah, all
Yeah.
this other stuff is true as well.
Well, remember when you were at the Tesla protest? I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah.
They shoved me into the street, like 4 grannies tried to shove me into Carling Avenue, and then a guy ran you over.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, he thought I was a protester, I guess, and he actually primarily hit the protester I was talking to, and happened to
Okay, a little bit
clip my
better, I
knee.
guess.
So. But
Sure.
it's not a little bit better because regardless, he was trying to run people over, and he just gave like a crappy excuse to the cops who basically saw it. They took a really long time. They were like parked like 20 feet backwards, and we were like, "Come over here." This guy just tried to run us down, and they finally come up, and I don't even think he got in a lot of trouble. I don't know what happened there.
No, you
But
just
it
let
was
him go,
crazy.
man. That was the first time
But
4
that was
grannies
a Tesla
ever tried to
enthusiast.
kill me.
That was a Tesla enthusiast though who did that. That was a sign that he was driving a Tesla, like he was anti.
That's when that was the day that you got retweeted by Elon, though.
That was the day. Yeah, he retweeted. He commented on one of the videos, and then he retweeted it. He got 136,000 likes and like almost 40 million.
Dude, I saw like over 40 million at one point. Crazy stories. There's incredible stories of the people that came here.
Just that bass.
And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free.
I'm Catherine, and this is my husband Wayne.
I'm Wayne, and welcome to Freedom Code.
Run the city like, yeah, this ain't nothing to me. Hey, yo, when perfectionist with that love of my brother go crazy, you know what it be.